Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar has arrived in Pulgaon, the ammunition depot where a fire took 20 lives. And this is the breaking news that we have just received. The Defence Minister has already arrived at the Central Ammunition Depot. We have Senior Editor Gaurav Sawant to tell us a little bit more. Gaurav, just fill us up with the details.
At this point of time, the army has revised the death toll. They've said 16 people, including 2 officers, were killed trying to contain this blaze. They succeeded in containing this blaze only to one shed. This shed contained extremely sensitive ammunition. They, of course, at this point of time, they're not giving out details of what this ammunition was, but the fire did not spread to other sheds. Now, the fire, the army has now officially said, Lieutenant General Ranbir Singh, the Director General of Military Operations, he held a briefing just a short while back, and he said the fire was reported around 1 at night. The quick reaction team immediately responded. They tried to contain the blaze, but apparently, the fire spread. Officers rushed in. That's the time we've lost 2 officers, 1 lieutenant colonel and 1 major, trying to contain the blaze along with 14 other ranks and civilians. They succeeded in containing the blaze. 16 people were injured in containing the blaze. Now the fire is completely under control, but these 16 people are hospitalized. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, Chief of the Army Staff General Dalbir Singh, both of them, Avantika, are at Pulgaon at this point of time. They are assessing the situation on ground, and especially the major corrective measures that need to be taken. We do expect a major announcement to be made later on those corrective measures.
And just tell us, as you said, that the Defence Minister and the Army Chief are already at the massive military ammunition depot in of course, Pulgaon in Maharashtra, and they are assessing the situation. What happens next, Gaurav?
Now, Pulgaon, as you know, is one of the biggest ammunition depots in the world. It's the largest in India, the second largest in Asia. It's spread over 7,000 acres of land, which has several hundred, ammunition sheds, which stores all kinds of ammunition from an AK-47, an INSAS 5.56 rifle ammunition to anti-tank guided missiles, to other missiles and rockets, artillery shells, mortars. All sorts of ammunition is stored here in separate shells. A conversation I was having with an Ordnance Corps officer a short while back seemed to indicate that, there is so much ammunition of some kind. Effective storage of ammunition is what is required, because a large number of ammunition is out in the open. It may be in some kind of sheds. In some cases, it's under a tarpaulin. Did that cause this accident? Perhaps no. But ammunition storage, maintenance of fire lanes, maintenance of standard operating procedures, there are several things that have found to be lacking, not just in this incident, but a series of other accidents that have taken place in the past. And now, after this accident, we are told that a lot of corrective measures are likely to be taken, and this will be high priority for the army now.
All right, Gaurav, just stay with me. Let's just tell our viewers what exactly happened. This is, in fact, this was a fatal fire that broke out at the Pulgaon Central Armament Depot in Maharashtra. 8 Jawans and 2 army officers have been killed in that fire. 19 people have sustained injuries. All of them, in fact, had been rushed to the hospital. The commanding officer of the depot was also injured in that blaze. The deputy commander was also rushed and is now in the intensive care unit with serious burn injuries. This fire, as we just heard Lieutenant General Ranbir Singh, while he was addressing a press conference, saying began at 1 in the morning. It began in one shed, and it did try to spread quite rapidly, but the personnel on the ground managed to restrict that fire to one shed itself. Now the fire is reportedly under control. People of, in the nearby villages have already been evacuated to safer areas. We're getting to hear that water is being transported from the tankers of nearby villages. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, as Gaurav was just mentioning, has already arrived. He is assessing the situation on the ground. He's already sought a detailed report on the fire incident. And the army is also looking into all possible causes, including sabotage.
I have asked the information. इतना ही मिला है कि एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, तो काफ़ी लोग जान गई हैं. तो I am going there and I'll assess it when I go there.
Fire broke out at approximately 1 o'clock early this morning in one of the sheds, and immediate action was taken by the firefighting parties and the quick reaction teams. However, in our efforts to douse the fire, 2 officers and 14 personnel, to include 1 Army Jawan and 13 civilian firefighting staff, lost their lives.
Gaurav Sawant is with us. Gaurav, we have suffered a huge loss of lives. This is indeed such a tragic incident that has taken place. The Defence Minister is already, taking stock of the situation. He has arrived. But do we know anything about the ammunition that was stored inside that particular shed that caught fire?
We have a fair idea. The army, of course, knows what was the ammunition that was stored in that, but army sources here saying it isn't, necessary, according to them, to give that out because this would help the adversary more than people within the country. This was, in one of the sheds, there was anti-tank ammunition that was stored. In another one, the main shed that caught fire had some sensitive ammunition that was completely destroyed in this fire. But more important or equally important is the loss of lives. 2 officers, 14 other ranks and civilians killed, 2 officers grievously injured. Were standard operating procedures not followed in containing the fire? That is one of the biggest lessons that the army hopes to learn here. The number of people who rushed in, in their enthusiasm to contain the fire. Were SOPs not followed, or did something happen that was just completely out of their control in terms of a massive explosion that was completely unexpected? So all of these are questions that we expect answers to. Now, in the past, there have been some major blasts and accidents in fire depots. Whether it was short circuit, whether it was controlled fire that went out of control, or sabotage. These are some of the aspects that the army would be looking at. In this particular case, was it poor management? That is something that we're talking about. Though this is one of the army's best maintained, at least that is what the army claimed till this accident, best maintained, central ordnance depots and ammunition depots of the army. So it still remains to be seen what led to this accident. A court of inquiry has been ordered. The Defence Minister is on ground zero, and we expect some answers soon.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Indeed, a very tragic incident that has come to light, with the Prime Minister also expressing his condolences on Twitter, where he has said that he's pained by the loss of lives that has been caused by this fire. Gaurav Sawant there, thank you so much for joining us. Pulgaon Central Armament Depot is the second storage base in Asia. As Gaurav was also just mentioning, not only were the lives of 20 brave officers lost, but the weapons that were stored for the Indian Army that have also been destroyed. Despite being of high strategic importance to India, Pulgaon lacked the required safety standards. Here's a detailed report.
The country's largest armament camp up in flames. The Pulgaon Ammo Dump, Asia's second largest storage base, is a sprawling 10,000-acre camp, slowly becoming India's largest military civil camp with almost all kinds of facilities.
It's the second largest ammunition depot in Asia. It's spread over 10,000 acres of land. Now, this is the main distribution point for all ammunition for northern India and for western India, especially for all the tank battles to be fought in the Gujarat, Rajasthan sector. All the ammunition goes from here.
Housing ammunition for the entire army, the storehouses or the sheds are built strategically to ensure that during incidents like this, a fire does not spread to every shed and thereby destroy arms worth millions.
This is the country's biggest ammunition depot in Pulgaon. Now, what you see here are silos. The distance between 2 ammunition depots is, sheds, is made in such a way. This is very scientific. This is very, very scientific to ensure that fire in one shed does not spread to the other. Most of these are concrete bunkers. Some of them are underground. Critical ammunition is always stored in underground bunkers, and there's a thick layer of concrete.
The fire has caused massive damage, primarily because arms at the depot were not stored underground.
Lot of our ammunition depots, not only Pulgaon, do not yet have these security, these underground bunkers for storage of ammunition. And the reason for that is quite simple: money, shortage of money.
It's the second time this is happening in the Pulgaon armament base. The second time A shed storing key arms and ammunition went up in smoke. Maybe it's time now to ensure that the depot is developed not just to contain fires, but to eliminate them altogether. Bureau Report, India Today.